It's time to lock in. We're talking SEC, college football, and more. This is AP as we see it.
I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. I said I'm all about that action.
I'm AP Stedham from LA. This is AP as we see it, a syndicated weekly 1-hour show discussing the Southeastern Conference and always keeping an eye on the national college football scene and other sports. We have a big week of college football to discuss, but before we get moving, we're going to mention our guest. We have in segment 2 and segment 3. Segment 2, be discussing the Tennessee versus Georgia game to be held in Athens. It's a big ball game, of course, for the conference, for the National Football Collegiate Championship and the playoffs. We're going to have John Freeman Nelson. He's the host and correspondent for the Review and College X programs at OSG Sports in Atlanta. He's going to be in segment 2. And then segment 3, big rivalry game. Many years ago out of the Southwest Conference, Texas will be traveling to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. We'll have Courtney Mims, who's the anchor and reporter for the Pig Trail Nation. So we're going to have those two guests in segment 2 and segment 3. We'd like to mention to check out our social media platforms on YouTube. That's at AP Stedham and at AP As We See It on YouTube, and the Instagram and the Facebook as well. You can check out the interviews I do during weekends at ball games across this country, primarily the SEC, of course. So check out our social media platforms and click and subscribe if you would, and put some comments up there as well. We always like to look at the audience and see what they have on their mind. We also like to thank our sponsors, Greer's Markets. You know, this is the Thanksgiving season. You can drop by. They're promoting their Thanksgiving turkeys and hams. And remember, it's family, friends, and football. And Chef Lucy has all those delicious desserts that she has on the website. And if you can't make it down to Greer's Markets, the 29 locations, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, make sure you click on groceries to go and call that audible and make sure they deliver it to your house, maybe the football game, your venue, whatever it may be. But remember, Greer's has a coloring contest in the month of November for all the children. It ends on November 30th. So check that out as well. And remember, when you're at Greer's, they guarantee it. They've got it. Also, we want to thank our other sponsor, Robertsdale Dental Care. Is 251-947-3636. Dr. Jason Northcutt. Not only does Dr. Jason Northcutt offer basic full-service dental treatment, but Dr. Jason Northcutt has developed a niche within the practice where he provides comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. Dr. Jason Northcutt has been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems. Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. That's 251-947-3636. And we also want to thank Wind Creek. They have the 3 locations in the state of Alabama, Atmore, Montgomery, and Wetumpka. Drop by. You can be a player and participate. They have the spas. They also have the cooking school, and check all those locations. Maybe you have a preference, but it's always fun to be at the Wind Creek properties, because I enjoy going to the spa and just listening to the music and participating as well. They have movie theaters, all kind of things happening there, restaurants. So you really enjoy it. Check out those 3 locations of Wind Creek, Atmore, Montgomery, and Wetumpka. So I guess it's time now to get on to our list of ball games. There's some really special teams that will be playing against each other this week. We mentioned the Tennessee at Georgia. We mentioned the Texas at Arkansas. But our first game on the schedule we're going to take a look at is Mercer versus the University of Alabama. And Alabama coming off that big win, 42-13, down in the Bayou, Baton Rouge. Jalen Milroe, I think he had a half a dozen national awards this week for his 4 touchdowns on rushing. He had 109 yards passing, just enough. And he continued his domination, really, of LSU via the run. He's the biggest and fastest player, looked like, on the field last week. And Alabama this week slight break playing Mercer. They're a 41.5-point favorite, but Jalen Milroe and company, they were dominant. The offensive line was able to block, and they had over 300 yards, which is a big day in college football. Anything over 200 is exceptional. 300 is way beyond expectations for any head coach, I believe. So they just the Bayou Bengals, they were tamed by the Crimson Tide of Alabama and the Elephants. So Alabama's going to look to continue their winning ways versus Mercer, get ready for that road trip to play the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma is one of the new teams in the conference beside Texas. So now we're going to move on to Texas versus Arkansas. This is a big rivalry. It goes all the way back to the Southwest Conference that disbanded in 1996. But you're wondering why there's so much anticipation and passion for this rivalry, because it happened so many years ago in the Southwest Conference. There's almost 30 players on the roster from Texas that play for the Razorbacks of Arkansas. We know that Texas, number 3 in the country, they're a 13.5-point favorite over Arkansas on the road. Last week, they beat Florida 49-17 at home. Arkansas 5-4 and 3-3 in the conference. They had a bye last week. This series stands at 56 wins for Texas, 23 for Arkansas. We know that Texas has a lot of positive numbers in the national statistics. Their total offense is 9th. Their total defense is 2nd. Their scoring offense is 10th. Their scoring defense is 4th. They're 4th in interceptions, 39 in sacks, 31 for total losses. Their turnover margin is 0.56, which is 30th in the country. Arkansas, they have a history of, as I say, of recruiting Texas players. An outstanding back on the team, Jaquindon Jackson, is healthy, according to Sam Pittman. He's the Texas back. He transferred from the University of Texas, and then he came from another school also, and he transferred to Arkansas. He was a highly recruited player coming out of that state. Taylon Green, the quarterback, transferred from Boise State. He's probable, according to Sam Pittman. And this week, the Arkansas Razorbacks, their pass defense right now is 124th, which is near the bottom in the entire FBS level of football. They had open competition. So that's not heartwarming for the Arkansas Razorback fans when you're having an open competition and you have a team like Texas where they're 10th in the country in passing. So this is going to be a very difficult game, but Arkansas will play very hard because this is a big rival, and they're welcoming Texas to the SEC. And like I said, they have quite a few players, almost 30 players on the roster from the state of Texas. So watch out for this ball game because Arkansas will be ready. Taylon Green, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league when he's healthy. He's a dual threat quarterback. He is accurate just enough to throw the deep ball, and he has his receiver, Armstrong. He's tall and rangy, and that trio of Taylon Green, Jackson at running back, and Armstrong at wide receiver, running back, quarterback. That's a good trio, and if they can get hot under Bobby Petrino, the offensive coordinator for Arkansas, I think they'll give Texas a good ball game because of the rivalry and the nature of the game. And it means so much to the state of Arkansas. And that legacy has been passed down through the grandparents and their parents. And this new crop of students at the University of Arkansas, I think they really understand because of their families how important this game is to beat the University of Texas. So now we're going to head on to the University of Louisiana Monroe playing Auburn. Auburn is 3-6, 1-5. This series is 0-11 in favor of Auburn. Last week, Texas State beat UL Monroe 38-17. Auburn is really just trying to get through the season, trying to figure out who their quarterback might be. Peyton Thorne had some injuries, and so they're trying to figure their season out and just get through it the best they can because they're really looking to the future. This Auburn team, they're 126 in turnovers. That's minus 1.11. Like I said many times on this show, they've been able to move the football, but they've struggled because of their offense. It's not been very good, and it has the turnovers, and they can't make the critical third downs, and it's just been inconsistent at best for the Auburn Tigers. So Let's look ahead to the next ball game. We're going to check out LSU and the University of Florida. Florida is struggling offensively because their quarterback, DJ Lagway, had a hamstring injury. I think he's going to play this game. If not, they go with Aiden Warner, the Yale transfer, the preferred walk-on, or Clay Millen, the Colorado State transfer. But DJ Lagway gives them the best chance. We know that LSU is a 4.5-point favorite on the road. They're number 22 in the country. This series is close, 34 and 33-3 in favor of LSU. LSU coming off that horrendous loss to Alabama, where they couldn't stop Jalen Monroe, a dual threat quarterback. LSU's pass is 7th, but they have trouble running at 112th in the country. So it's a very difficult game. But like I say, LSU needs to win this ball game. Florida's struggling, but Billy Napier, they're coming off that loss to Texas, 49-17. So we'll see what happens, but the Bengals should take care of business. We're going to be right back after these messages with AP as we see it and our guest. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Jason Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. And we're back with AP as we see it, and our very special guest, John Freeman Nelson, host and correspondent for the Review and the College X programs at OSG Sports in Atlanta. Hey, John, how are you?
Good to see you, my friend. It's been entirely too long since we got to talk about things.
It sure has. Somebody so knowledgeable about college football. I don't know how that happened.
I mean, it's with everything going on. I mean, literally, I'm trying to figure out which one of me I am right now and which division of college football we're talking about. So it's like, are we talking NAIA? Are we talking South Dakota State? Are we talking Kennesaw? What's going on, man? It's all over the place.
Oh, for sure, for certain. But anyway, John, that Georgia team, I told everybody before the year, everyone's chasing Georgia and Ohio State, and they caught them both. So that was my preview of the college football season, and it was wide open, Wild West beyond that. But John, what are some of your thoughts before the season and now with reality of the Georgia team?
I'm with you. I thought that it was going to be Georgia and everybody else, but I think that what we have seen is a situation involving the team in Athens where defenses, and we'll get into this when it comes to the game preview coming up in just a sec, that defenses are basically to the point now where it's like, okay, I need Carson Beck to beat me. I'm going to stop the running game. I'm going to put 7 or 8 in the box. I'm going to trust my corners, and I'm going to make sure that Carson Beck is the one that beats me and not the bevy of running backs that are there. And so we've seen it over and over again with the losses that are on the board with Georgia. That seems to be the case. Carson Beck is being forced into throws that you're not supposed to be making if you want them completed to the guy wearing the same color jersey. And so that's where we are right now with the University of Georgia. And make sure the running game beats you as opposed to Carson Beck.
Yeah, John, that really surprised me. Of all the stats in college football, which is saying quite a bit, Georgia maybe 100 and something in rushing, because we know Kirby's smart. He likes to dominate at the line of scrimmage, and he recruits all these 5-star offensive linemen. But that is not the case this season. And just as you mentioned, Carson Beck, 12 interceptions, that's a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah, especially if you're looking at it with 3 in a game and 3.5 and things like that, especially against your rivals. I know that the temperature is pretty hot in Athens when it comes to Carson Beck and what he has not been able to accomplish this year. So we'll see if the temperature continues to be as hot or if it cools down. I know that Kirby has said on multiple occasions that Carson Beck is my guy. That is not going to change. You're not going to see Gunnar Stockton or anything like that for any kind of a change of pace. So we'll see where the management of the game is now involving Kirby Smart and the plays that are called involving Carson Beck. Is it shorter stuff? Is it stuff that's outside shoulder? Is it back shoulder throws? Is it purposely underthrowing targets to make sure that only one person knows where that ball is going and it's the receiver? I'm interested in the play calling now going forward with the passing game to see how you try and accomplish things and the trust in particular receivers who are Carson Beck's number 1 and number 2 guys. There are a lot of the Palace intrigue is very, very thick, AP.
I can imagine. Can this defense survive, John, some of the mistakes and win the rest of their games?
I think so. I think that a lot of time, I think that what you may do, what we're seeing at the end of the season, I think is traditionally what we see at the beginning of seasons, where you're looking at defenses being the ones that will carry you through until the offense figures themselves out. And right now in Athens, we're seeing the reverse, where the offense is having its hiccups and the defense is the one that's having to pick up the slack. So it's an interesting reversal from what we're used to seeing when it comes to college football. And I think the answer is they're going to have to. And I think that you're going to have to get scores in other ways. It might have to be the occasional special teams play. It might have to be a kickoff or a punt return. You might have to have your defense try to clamp down and make it short fields and make it to where the offense is clinical, those kinds of things. That to me is the interesting aspect in all of this. I think that Georgia's going to have to find different ways to score until they're absolutely 100% comfortable with the playbook that they give Carson Beck on a weekly basis.
John, you've watched Kirby Smart for quite a while. Is he a coach that can do very well with even talent when the talent is not superior?
I think that's what we're finding out right now, and especially in this season where there have been Carson Beck questions, you're seeing the University of Georgia winning clinically instead of wide open. You see the long touchdown passes, you see all of the chunk plays, things like that, having to think your way through a situation. I think that Kirby definitely is that kind of an individual where you win games in different ways. So seeing games where time of possession is where we thought when it used to be before we had these wide open offenses where time of possession really doesn't matter. It's finding ways to win. If you have a short passing game, last time I checked, if you throw a pass for 3 1/3 yards, if you throw a pass for 3 1/3 yards, you do that 3 times, that's a first down, you move the sticks. Short passes can mean just as much as a running game in these kinds of things. And so I think that you're getting to see Kirby Smart and his staff think in 3 dimensions and figure out other ways to do it. But yeah, I mean, it literally, a little dump pass here and there. You do that 3 times, you get 10 feet. That's a first down. So you do that. So 3 times 10 is 30. 30 feet is 10 yards. Yeah. Okay. So trying to have math on this show, it's always a difficult thing for me. But yeah, short passing game can mean just as much as running. And so I think that you do things that are comfortable for Carson Beck, and I think that might end up being part of it. But I think the imagination is definitely there for Kirby Smart and the staff.
Yeah, the wide receivers, John, have had some issues catching the ball. That's a serious problem. So, and the tight end, you mean they're capable, but there's no Brock Bowers out there.
No, but Oscar Delp is nothing to sneeze at. And having covered Oscar since his time as a very tall target in high school in the state of Georgia, you kind of know what you're getting in somebody like an Oscar Delp. So Oscar was double and triple teamed as one of those unfair matchups as an H-back wideout before he moved to the collegiate level. And to see someone like that, like a Darnell Washington and Oscar Delp, those kinds of things. I mean, it's really interesting to see how things continue to grow at that position. But I think that Oscar Delp and the tight ends really can do really well here.
John, about 3 minutes. How about the preview versus Tennessee? Last year, they annihilated them up in Knoxville. This year, it's a tight ball game, but they're still a favorite, right? Big favorite.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's. I think it's a 7. I think was the number that we most recently ran into. So I think that much like the PSA that we hear on the radio a lot about shingles. Shingles doesn't care. I look at Kirby Smart and point spreads much like everybody does shingles when it comes to the PSAs we hear on radio. Kirby doesn't care about point spreads. Much like shingles, Kirby doesn't care. You win, you move on. And it's all about quality wins in these kinds of situations. I think that right now, as a 7, I'm looking at Georgia winning probably by 4. The total, I think, was in the 50s, and I think that you get there. I think it was mid to high 50s. I think it was 58.5 was what I was staring at. But if you believe in juice boxes, I would say that Georgia wins, Tennessee covers. They probably get to the total, and they do probably early fourth quarter. So I think it's going to be a quality win for Georgia in this particular case. So we'll see what happens. But I think that there was also questions on the Tennessee side about Imaliava and his health. Was he going to be 100%? What does it look like from the quarterback position for Tennessee? So I'm looking at those factors here, all contributing to this, and the idea that Georgia wins, Tennessee covers, and Georgia moves on in this elimination game, I think, for the CFP 12.
John, about a minute and a half. John, what's a surprise player? Who's a surprise player for Georgia this year, either side of the ball for you? We're trying to think positively, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's. I'm trying to think of how it all lines itself out. But I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily, you get players that surprise you. I think that more than anything, it's these individuals that you anticipate that are these 4 and 5 stars that come in and actually do what they're supposed to do. So I don't know if I necessarily have a shock player for me. Maybe Etienne at running back, once he's gotten into the system and the flow of things, I think that we've seen how capable he can be when it comes to things. So I think that, being out for games and then having to orient yourself in quickly, I think is always a challenge in that regard. So I'll sit there. I'll say Etienne just because he hasn't been there since game 1 and he's had to integrate himself quickly into this offense.
Right. And Georgia's had some excellent wins. I mean, they beat Clemson the first game of the year. They went on the road and beat a Texas team, which is number 3 right now. So, I mean, they're in good standing if they continue to win. And I think
this is the thing that gets me. How is it that Texas is ranked above Georgia in the power rankings and in polls when Georgia was the one that beat Texas? I don't understand it.
Yeah,
it's math, dude. That's how it runs.
Yeah. I sat in the back of the class for that subject, John. So I'm with you on that score. So, hey, John, we want to thank you, John Freeman Nelson, host and correspondent for the Review and the College X programs at OSG Sports in Atlanta. Hey, John, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the college football season. We really appreciate it.
Anytime, my friend.
We'll be right back with AP as we see it after these messages. I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Jason Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use groceries to go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. And we're back with AP as we see it, and our very, very special guest from Fayetteville, Arkansas, Courtney Mims, anchor and reporter for the Pig Trail Nation. Hey, Courtney, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just excited here in Arkansas because it's Texas week. And so, man, it's a good week here on the Hill.
Hey, Courtney, I know that rivalry from many years ago before you were around. They had that Southwest Conference going on. They disbanded, disintegrated. They kind of shot each other apart, 1996. But those Arkansas folks they love to beat Texas, and it means so much to them. So I know all the grandparents and the parents and family members, they're indoctrinating all the students and the young people about this Texas and Arkansas football game.
Oh yeah, when you go around campus, you wouldn't believe it because there are, 18-year-old kids there and they're going horns down, and so they know what this week means, right? It's 130 years of history between Arkansas and Texas. But there was the first matchup being in 1894. That's a long time ago. And so you have so many incredible moments of the rivalry throughout the years. You have the 1969 game of the century. They matched up in the 2000 Cotton Bowl. They matched up in the 2014 Texas Bowl. And then most recently, which I think a lot of fans do remember, in 2021, when the last time the Hogs hosted the Longhorns right here in Razorback Stadium. And obviously, if you watch that matchup and you didn't know anything about this rivalry, you were like, oh my gosh, Hog fans are insane. These two are crazy rivals, and they are. Arkansas fans feel very passionately about this rivalry. I think when Steve Sarkisian came to Fayetteville, he didn't really understand it. He does now. He has made comments this week going, I don't know what Darrell Royal did to them in years past, but oh my gosh, they hate our guts. And they do. I mean, Arkansas fans feel so passionately about beating the Longhorns. So this is a game where you might look on paper and go, yeah, Texas will win. They're 14-point favorites, okay. But
Right.
don't count out the Hogs. Just don't do it. There's something about this game that makes Arkansas players, coaching staff, fans, realize that we can do anything, right? We can do anything, and it may be closer than you think.
I believe so. That's the way I feel about the game. And Darrell Roy, for those who don't know, he's the legendary former Oklahoma quarterback, became the coach at the University of Texas. He played against his friend and who was the head coach and athletic director at Arkansas, Frank Broyles. So that was a game that had all kind of storylines through the years. But I love watching that, Courtney, when they would get together in that 69 game. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that ending. But anyway, we're going to move on to the Arkansas right now. Taylor Green, how is his health, Courtney?
Yeah. So the recent update we got from Sam Pittman is that he's going to play, is that they feel like he's going to play. They feel like he's good to go. And they feel like he is healthy enough to start in this game. The other name that we're kind of keeping an eye out on is running back Jaquindon Jackson. He's been hurt the past few weeks. And obviously from the start of the season, he has made a difference when he is on the field to their run game. And so with him being hurt, that hurt them there. They had a freshman in Braylon Russell step up a little bit for them there. But when Jaquindon Jackson's on the field, he's a Utah transfer. He is so good, just such a versatile back. And so he makes a difference when he's out there for them, especially when I think they're going to need a boost to the run game. They're going to need Taylor Green healthy and using his legs in this matchup. They're going to need Jaquindon Jackson. And so hopefully he is healthy as well. That's because I feel like if you can identify somewhere on Texas where they're a little bit weaker, I think it's when it comes to that run defense. They're just, and I'm not saying they're not talented there. I'm just saying that could be a chink in the armor, right? Where that could be somewhere where Arkansas maybe could have the edge in. Maybe if they can get everything going, if their offensive line can step up their play, that might be somewhere where they can attack and maybe make some ground on Texas.
Jaquindon Jackson from the state of Texas, went to the University of Texas first, transferred from Utah, you said. He was a big star in the state of Texas, so I know this game means so much to him personally. I like him as a back, by the way. I really enjoy watching him play. How about the wide receiver Armstrong? Andrew, right? Andrew Armstrong?
Yes, Andrew Armstrong, also from the state of Texas. Like, you got so many guys who are from Texas on this team. Taylor Green as well. Funny quick story there. Taylor Green and Jaquindon Jackson actually played each other in a Texas high school football game. And so they make fun of each other about that because Jaquindon Jackson used to be a quarterback. And so they faced each other in a game, and it was pretty heated. And they bring it up to each other quite frequently in the locker room, apparently. So there's just a little funny thing there. But yeah, Andrew Armstrong has been spectacular spectacular for them this season. I mean, one of the best receivers in the SEC. His stats show that. He was one of the best receivers for them last year, one of the best receivers as well in the SEC last year. I think he just at the end of the year slipped out of the top 10. And so, again, sneaky that this guy is so good, and you haven't heard about him a lot, I feel like, at least from last year coming into this year. He came back to the Hogs, but he has been so incredible for them when it comes to their passing game. The Taylon Green to Andrew Armstrong connection is one you love to see. He's just going to find a way to make plays. That's who he is. That's who he is as a receiver. And especially when Taylon Green is out there, that's a dynamic duo. I love watching him play as well. What I'd like to see from Arkansas, though, is getting some more guys involved in the passing game. How about those tight ends? Bobby Petrino loves to utilize his tight ends. Luke Haas is a guy that you heard about a lot last year. If you followed the SEC, if you followed Arkansas, had a season-ending injury in the Texas A&M game. So broke his clavicle. And so he couldn't come back and play for them. Well, this season, everyone's like, it's his breakout year. He's going to be so great. We haven't seen much of him, and that's because Arkansas's tight ends, they've been utilized more as blockers instead of in the passing game. I'd like to see those tight ends get utilized like they did in that Mississippi State game. They were all over the field. Bobby Petrino was getting creative with his play calling for them. And so I know the talent they have in that room, they're lacking some numbers there, as they had two tight ends that actually recently got dismissed from the team, in Ty Washington and Marquise Gums. But I'd like to see them get utilized a little bit more. Bobby Petrino, I know he's got it in him. Okay, if you watched Bobby Petrino call a game, he likes to utilize his tight ends, and so I want to see them a little bit more in the passing game for Arkansas.
A little less than 3 minutes, Courtney. Sam Pittman, he has the competition for the secondary this week, so that's kind of disturbing for the Arkansas fans when you're facing a team like Texas. Can this defense rise up on a few occasions to slow the Longhorns down?
That's the $1 million question, AB. That is the $1 million question. I think that's what every fan is asking themselves right now. Can Arkansas actually stop Texas's passing game, especially when they went up against Florida, they passed for more than 350 yards. And so Arkansas is going to have a huge challenge there of trying to stop that, especially with Texas's receiving core. I don't know is the answer to that question, because we've seen good things from the secondary. We just don't know kind of who's going to show up there game by game. I like TJ Metcalf. He's a young guy that's been balling out for them. He had 2 interceptions in the Auburn game for Arkansas. He's a guy that you want to see step up. We also don't know if Jalen Braxton is going to be back and healthy for this game. Sam Pittman's kind of been teasing that he's been getting healthy for them, and he's a guy that last year was lighting it up there in the secondary for Arkansas. And then also he was, getting so many awards and things like that. And people were wondering what he was going to do this year. He's been hurt since the Oklahoma State game. So if he is back and he is healthy, that's going to make a difference in the secondary. We don't know if he's going to be playing in this game. If you're wondering what to watch for Arkansas, I would watch that injury report real closely. Look at Jaquindon Jackson's status and look at Jalen Braxton's status as well, because having those two guys back and healthy for Arkansas really could change the game.
Yeah, I'm thinking the running back will play, Courtney, but I'm not sure about the defensive back. I have a bigger question mark there about him, because he has to run full speed every play with a running back. He can be less than 100% and still contribute to your offense and things like that. But hey, Courtney, we want to thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. We met out in Dallas at the SEC Media Days and said, "Who's this gal? She knows so much about football." I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'd call you young lady, I guess. But anyway, Texas and Arkansas, I recommend for people to keep an eye on this game and watch it. It'll be a lot of fun and for years to come. And I know Arkansas, they like to welcome the Longhorns to the SEC. So thank you so much.
They will, and it's going to be a game to watch. I know a lot of people say, okay, well, Texas has this one in the bag. If you know the history of this rivalry, you shouldn't be saying that. So I know everyone's excited for this game. And thank you so much for having me on. It was so fun.
Hey, thank you, Courtney. And we'll be right back with AP as we see it after these messages. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Jason Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. And we're back with AP as we see it. We'd like to thank our guest, segment 2, John Freeman Nelson, discuss the Tennessee-Georgia game, and Courtney and Mims discussing the Arkansas Razorbacks as they host the Texas Longhorns and welcome them to the SEC. I know that's a big ball game for those folks up there. We're going to discuss the college football playoff rankings. We noticed that Texas is number 3 from the SEC. We also have Tennessee at number 7. Alabama number 10, Ole Miss number 11, Georgia number 12, Texas A&M number 15, South Carolina, surprisingly, they're the surprise team, I believe, of the year. 21 and 22 is LSU, Missouri 23. So that's 9 teams out of the 25 of the current college football playoff rankings. That surpasses any other conference, doubles everybody else, and then some. ACC with 4, Big 10 with 4, Big 12 with 3, AHC, the American Athletic Conference, with 2. So the SEC is going to get a lot of teams in these college football playoffs. There's so many games left to play. But as we move forward, we're going to start discussing the games. Our next game up is Murray State versus Kentucky. We know that Kentucky struggling this year offensively. They had an outstanding defense. We mentioned this because I think it's worth something for the people across the country that know that they shut down Georgia with 13 points, shut down Ole Miss in Oxford with 17, 30 points. They surrendered in those 2 ball games. That's as good a defensive effort as any team across America, but it hasn't helped them in the win column, just 3-6, 1-6 in the conference. So they're a 37.5 point favorite over Murray State. Murray State, 1-9, 0-7 in their conference. So they should be They should be able to win this ball game. Mark Stoops, and he's trying to figure things out moving forward. But Kentucky, if that defense was playing with any other team offensively, they'd be probably in the playoffs. I can tell you right now, because you don't need much when you have them. They've had some games where they gave up a lot of points, but I think they were just tired and worn out. Now we're going to discuss the Columbia versus Columbia. That's Missouri. Columbia, Missouri versus Columbia, South Carolina is the next ball game on the schedule. And Mizzou is a team that is 7-2, 3-2 in the conference, number 23 ranked in the college football playoffs. And then South Carolina is 6-3, 4-3 in the conference, number 21 in the college football playoff. South Carolina at home, a 12.5 point favorite. And this series is 9 in favor of Missouri, 5 wins for South Carolina. Mizzou, Eli Drinkwitz said that their running back returns, Nate Noel, and the quarterback situation of the center's out, the starting center's out, so they have a second string center moving forward. And the quarterback, Brady Cook, was injured. Drew Pine brought him to victory last week against Oklahoma. So we'll see who plays quarterback this week. But Eli Drinkwitz, he's steadfast in his belief that he doesn't believe he has a problem at the quarterback position because he feels strongly about both Brady and Drew as well. Now, one team beginning of the season was expected to win, Missouri. No question. I like them as a team. They had Luther Burden III, Brady Cook returning, pretty good defense. They were getting better on that side of the ball, a lot of transfers. The other team, South Carolina, there's no way that I or anyone else that I know expected them to be in this position, ranked number 21 in the country, had some nice wins, big upsets. Some of the numbers for Mizzou, their scoring defense is 16th. Their passing defense is 8th. And now also the turnover margin, they're number 37 in the country at 40.44. South Carolina, some of their better numbers, their scoring defense is 12th. We know they have the two defensive ends that can disrupt the quarterback, and it's really been a key for them in these last couple wins and just supporting the offense because they have the young quarterback Lenore Sellers, not experienced. He's gotten better each week. He throws some interceptions, but the defense has kept everything in check for the Gamecocks. They've been competitive, and you see that they're a 12.5-point favorite at home. Some big good numbers for them besides the defense ranking 12th, and the run defense is 14th. Interceptions 19th, sacks number 3, tackles for loss 10th, and turnovers at 30. So Rocket Sanders, he's been the transfer from Arkansas, the big running back. He's been a force in that running game, and he catches the ball out of the backfield. So he's really critical to South Carolina. He's really uplifted the team these last couple ball games. So South Carolina will depend on him, and of course Lenore Sellers to make some plays as well. But excuse me, South Carolina, they're coming off the victory over Vanderbilt, 28-7. We know Vanderbilt's another big surprise in the SEC. And Mizzou, they're coming off that win over Oklahoma, 30-23. Excuse me, we're going to move on to New Mexico State at Texas A&M, and that series is 0-1 in favor of Texas A&M. Texas A&M 7-2, 5-1 in the league. They had a bye last week. They're a 38.5-point favorite. New Mexico State 2-7, 1-5. They lost to Western Kentucky 41-28. Their scoring offense is 116th, defensive scoring 126 for New Mexico State. I believe they're the Aggies. Texas A&M, they have the quarterback situation. Marcel Reed and Connor Wegman, probably going to go with Reed, I would say. They lost their running back, Le'Veon Moss. He's out for the year with a leg injury. He had 765 yards, 10 TDs. Reuben Owens was out before the season started, so they're going to have to rely on Amari Daniels, a junior, and the Stanford transfer. Maybe you recognize his name, E.J. Smith. So they should win that ball game, but they're still in the hunt to being part of the SEC championship game, as well as be part of the college football playoffs. And like I said, they're ranked number 15th currently in the college football playoffs. Now we come to the biggest game in the conference this week. Is Tennessee, number 7, facing number 12, Georgia. Georgia at home, even though they're number 12 in the country, according to the college football playoff. They are a 10.5-point favorite. This series is 23 wins for Tennessee, 28 for Georgia. They have the lead in 2 ties. Now, if you look at Tennessee's offense, their scoring offense is number 15. Their total offense is number 8. Their running game is number 9. We know Dylan Sampson from Baton Rouge, one of the top rushers in the country. Very good, very productive. And Josh Heupel, believe it or not, people probably don't realize, but he likes to run that football, even though his quarterbacks are known for throwing the ball as well. But Tennessee, their tackles for loss, 7th, sacks 33, turnovers at 37.44. Nico Iamaleava, he's on the concussion protocol. Gaston Moore is the senior who filled in for him last week. But Nico, I think Nico's going to play in this ball game. I believe that could give Tennessee the advantage in this game. I think Tennessee, they're playing much better football defensively and offensively, I think, complementary than Georgia right now. And Georgia has some trouble with their offensive line, their pass blocking. They're giving up sacks, causing Carson Beck, their quarterback, to have fumbles. They're not being able to run the ball. And we keep saying this every week, and I can't emphasize it enough. Georgia, 104th in rushing. And I don't understand how you have these highly recruited offensive linemen, 5-star, most of them, and excellent running backs, but you're 104th. Something is not right. Something is missing from that staff, because Kirby Smart, we know, loves to run the football. Their passing is 16th. They have to rely on Carson Beck. Their total offense is 50th, which is middle of the road, and it should be much better. You should be middle of the road on offense at Georgia. So, and their scoring is 48th. Their defense, 13th in the country total. Scoring defense 16. Their sacks, number 39. Tackles for loss 33. Turnovers are 88th in the country. That should probably be a better number as well. So, but Georgia's a team. We said at the beginning of the year, everyone is chasing Georgia and Ohio State, and they've been caught. Georgia's been caught twice. Ohio State once on the road at Oregon. Georgia, and they had some nice ball games. They went on the road, beat Texas, but they lost last week to Ole Miss 28-10. It wasn't a close game, really. They dominated. Ole Miss's defense dominated. And by the way, Ole Miss, there's some buys this week. Ole Miss has a bye. Mississippi State has a bye as well. Oklahoma, except for the loss of Mizzou, they have a bye. And Vandy has a bye. They lost to South Carolina. So we want to just have people continue to watch college football. It's been a great season so far because of the competitiveness and the unscripted drama that college football delivers every game. No matter the day, ending in Y, it's a lot of fun to watch, and especially the SEC. Right now, I wouldn't even begin to predict who's going to be in the SEC championship game, because it's coming down to these last few weeks. So this is another episode of AP as we see it, and have fun this weekend. We'll be back next week. Thank you. I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Jason Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it.